In this video, we are going to talk about XRP, the recent price action, some of the crucial support and resistance areas, and look at where we can expect XRP to go in the coming days and weeks. So on the weekly chart for XRP, despite the recent struggle for XRP and basically the entire crypto market, XRP has basically just been dumping for a couple of months now. But if we look at the weekly chart, at the last year or so for XRP, we can see that the structure is still looking decent. We are still in an up trending channel and we are still holding it. We're getting very close to the trend line of the lows right here. We have reached it last week. So despite the dump in the last few months, the structure for XRP is still looking decent. I have explained in a previous video why I think that Bitcoin has likely bottomed in the last few days, or it will bottom very soon. I talked about the death cross and why I think that Bitcoin is likely still in a bull market despite the recent struggle. And if that is true, and Bitcoin does get a rally from here, then we will likely also see XRP following it, and we can probably expect it to get all the way up to this upper part of the trend line and potentially reaching about $4 in the next few months. But of course, this is pretty far away at the moment, and we need to see an actual bottom forming for XRP, and we don't really have a confirmation of a bottom just yet. If we look at XRP on the daily chart, we can see some very early signs of a potential reversal in the trend. We very clearly had a structure of lower highs and lower lows, but recently in the last week or so, we have seen this bounce from the trend line that we talked about on the weekly chart, and it looks like we are trying to potentially form a higher low right here. Of course, it's too early to really know if it is going to be a higher low. What would confirm it is if we see the price going above $2.6. This will confirm the structure reversal that we may see XRP starting to rally from here. If Bitcoin does get a recovery, then this is very likely to happen, but of course it's too early to really know. It's also still completely possible that we go all the way down to touch the trend line again and potentially form a double bottom. Generally, despite the panic in the markets and despite the entire crypto market doing very poorly in the last few weeks, in the last couple of months, the structure for XRP is still looking okay, and we are still holding the crucial trend line and this uptrending channel that we're in. So there's no reason to really panic in my opinion. Despite the structure for XRP still looking decent, what I will say is that I am still expecting Bitcoin to outperform most altcoins in the coming weeks, probably until the end of 2025. Bitcoin is the king of the market and it's the one that leads the bull market. As long as Bitcoin isn't doing very well, altcoins are not going to do well either. And for the altcoin market to do well as a whole, Bitcoin first needs to approach new all-time highs. Of course, there can be some exceptions and XRP could be one of them. There are always a few coins that are the exception to the rule, but the rule is still that until we see Bitcoin approaching new all-time highs and doing well again, most altcoins will underperform Bitcoin and lag behind it. So even if we do see XRP getting a recovery and going up in terms of dollars, it will likely lag behind Bitcoin. Of course, this isn't guaranteed, but more likely than not, it will lag behind Bitcoin. If we look at the chart of the total 3 minus USDT against Bitcoin, which is basically the entire crypto market, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum and USDT against Bitcoin. This is a chart I show a lot on the channel because in my opinion, it really shows the dynamics between Bitcoin and altcoins. So in both previous cycles, both in 2017 and 2021, what eventually led to an alt season is this chart reaching the support area of around 0.25 to 0.27. In both previous cycles, we first needed to see altcoins dumping to this support area compared to Bitcoin, and only from there we got a bounce that was basically the alt season. And in this cycle we are getting closer and closer to this support area, but we haven't reached it just yet. And again, as I said, Bitcoin leads the bull market and after that Ethereum follows it. So in my opinion, to really get an alt season and for us to see altcoins outperforming Bitcoin as a whole, we first need to see Bitcoin approaching new all-time highs, followed by Ethereum approaching new all-time highs, and this chart reaching the support area. And once we do get these conditions met, then it will make more sense to get into altcoins in my opinion. Of course, this isn't financial advice whatsoever. I could be wrong. XRP could actually outperform Bitcoin and there can be some exceptions, but in my opinion, generally, it is better to hold Bitcoin and Ethereum rather than the smaller altcoins at the moment. Again, as I explained, at least until we see Bitcoin and Ethereum approaching new all-time highs, which will likely only happen very late in 2025 or in the beginning of 2026. That's going to be the update for XRP. If you enjoyed it, make sure to like the video and subscribe to not miss any future updates. I will keep making videos about XRP and a bunch of other coins and the entire crypto market as things unfold, so make sure to subscribe to not miss that out. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.